I don't think any of us expected for the TV show to turn out being like #1 in a couple different countries on Netflix. As a colored person, you know, we don't have a lot of opportunities to see ourselves in main roles. I knew how risky it was. Like with the club scene, sometimes they'll say straight up front, like, we don't allow black people here.
Okay. Do you think Dami is a sociopath in real life too? Is she like that? What do you think of Seroyi's haircut?
Representation really matters, especially to like kids. It not only shapes their development as a kid, but it also shapes how society treats them. Seo Jun, we knew each other before we started shooting the show. We originally met and started to like
What is up, ducks quack quack? We are back with Tea Time with David, and today I have a very special guest. We're gonna sip the hottest tea with the hottest guest out here, and his name is CHRIS LYON, aka Kim Toni from Itaewon Class. I guess you guys have all seen the mega hit drama by now. It's on Netflix everywhere, and I have made a video about it too, so go watch that as well. And anyways,
hello everyone, CHRIS LYON. I'm an actor here in Korea. And I also do music production as well.
We are going to get to know about CHRIS today thoroughly. You get to choose 5 words and describe yourself.
5 words that I had an acronym. It was IPQA, that's what it was. E standing for excited.
Excited.
Afraid. Positive.
Positive.
Quiet. I can be annoying sometimes.
Annoying.
Yeah.
First, let's start with excited.
Excited? I think like I'm excited about learning stuff.
Ah, okay.
Like learning new things. Like when I was in school, I always thought like once I get done with school, I will never have to study anything ever again. Much to my surprise, that's just not how life works.
So what have you recently been studying?
Growing up, I always was like interested in music. That's what I ended up studying like when I was younger. And recently I've been getting into like computer graphics and visual effects. But like I say that and people are always like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm like, oh
no,
my
like don't get too excited. I'm not that great at it.
Before we go on into anything, I think a lot of people might be curious on how you got to Korea and what brought you here.
Oh, yeah.
And were you excited about it?
Yeah, I was excited about it the first time I came. I stayed in a boarding school, and a lot of my friends who lived there with me were Korean. One of my friends invited me to come and just check it out. And I also had some roommates that were Korean. They just kind of like piqued my interest in going.
And where was that?
The high school I went to was in Savannah, Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, most people hear Savannah and they're like, oh, Georgia. No, it's a very small place in Tennessee.
Koreans in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That sounds very random.
They originally piqued my interest in Korea, and then later I ended up coming to visit. That was in a place called Yecheon in Gyeongsang-bukdo.
That's another random place.
Which is, it's like they came from one place in the country to like another place.
You came to the Tennessee of Korea.
Right, that's what it feels like. Like there was nothing there.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. But as you know, this is tea time. This is a selection of tea. You can choose whichever you want.
Okay. This one looks interesting.
I think nobody has chosen that before.
Really?
Yeah. So what's the name of it?
In Korean it says 비에 사슬.
Oh wow. It's like the contemplation in the rain, something like that.
Thank you for translating that.
Oh my God.
I just did not.
That's hard. That's philosophical. I will pour it for you. Korean
Appreciate
style.
that.
There we go.
Thank you, sir.
Anyways, the real question is, what was your second acronym thing?
Oh, that's right. We were talking about that. I totally forgot. Okay, so afraid. That's what.
Afraid. So what are you afraid of?
I think I'm just afraid of hurting people's feelings. I'm not afraid of making people mad.
Okay.
I'm more afraid of like being inconsiderate of like other people's experiences.
Were there any like experiences that made you scared or afraid, like in Korea or during the filming or anything?
Yeah, I think every actor is. Like, you never want to be the person who messes up the show.
Yeah.
So going into it, everyone was like super nice. You know, there are days when like you don't make any mistakes, and then there are days where it feels like nothing's working. And it's just like other things in life where like you have your good days and bad days.
Right. So good. And the next one,
positive.
Positive.
Yeah. I usually tend to think that like a lot of things are going to turn out well. Yeah. But sometimes I'm like too positive.
Oh.
Where most of the time when I was growing up, that was like a big problem for me. I would just say yes to everything.
Oh, you're the yes man.
Yeah, like someone would ask me to do something and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Like over the years, I've had so many bad experiences growing up of like saying yes to things that I couldn't come through on that I feel like I kind of learned how to say no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I think is like super important. Like if you're ever thinking about getting into the entertainment industry, learn how to say no first. You have to come up with some other plans or like prepare beforehand to be able to say no.
And then the next one, Q.
Quiet. Yeah,
Quiet.
I don't usually like to talk if I don't have anything to say.
Really?
I usually hate the idea of like having to just talk. Luckily, like you make it super easy to talk to. But like if I were just sitting here just talking to the camera by myself, like that is the worst feeling for me. I'm so afraid to just like be the only one talking and have no response.
Oh, really?
It just feels weird.
Okay, so shall we sip some tea?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm getting.
I am assuming it's brewed. By now.
Oh, the color is nice.
Right. Yeah.
The A.
Annoying. Yeah.
Annoying.
Annoying. Yes.
Oh,
annoying. Yes.
Okay.
I'm the kind of person where like I'll tell somebody something like a story and like I say dumb stuff. Stuff where like I look back and I'm like, yeah, that was dumb. Like I'm annoying.
That's not annoying. I guess that's like
if you do it once, yeah, it's not annoying.
Oh, you constantly
if you're like me and like are just like constantly throwing these things out there.
Okay.
Then yeah, it's annoying.
What would be like a very funny episode that happened?
In the show, there's this part where like I play guitar.
Oh yeah.
And sing.
You
okay,
sing
so you've seen the ending.
Yeah.
Now I know things won't come so
And my friends didn't believe that I was singing.
What? They thought you were listening?
Yeah, he's like one of my best friends. And he was like, you didn't sing that.
That was your voice. I could recognize it.
He was like, no, you didn't sing that song. I was like, yeah, I did. Like, honestly, it was super cold that day.
Oh.
Like, that day was freezing. And I was having to play the guitar.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if I was, like, touching the strings or not.
Oh, because your hands were so numb.
Yeah, because like I had no feeling in my hands.
Oh my god.
And like you see me smiling, but I'm thinking like I can't tell if I'm grabbing the right chord or not. My friends didn't believe that I was playing the guitar, and they said like, no, like you're capping, and I was like, nah, I don't have a cap on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Okay. In general, how long have you been living in Korea? And everybody must wonder how you're so good in Korean.
People say that, but I don't feel like I'm the greatest at Korean.
You are good. You're perfect.
Nah. Like, I originally came just to, like, visit friends, and I also tried teaching for a little bit. After, like, 1 year, I was just like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Oh.
The people were super nice. It was just like, I just felt like I didn't have the patience to do it. I ended up going back to the States for a little while. Okay. And then I came back to go to Korea University.
Okay.
Go there for a little while. I remember going there, but I also wanted to like figure out who was doing music in the music industry here.
So you initially came for the music industry.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally skipped over your question of like learning Korean. Okay, so first with learning Korean in high school. Well, first I had one roommate. When he first came to the US, he was reading a book in Korean, and I was just curious. And I saw the book, and I was like, "Hey, that looks kind of cool." Like I had never seen Korean
the
writing before. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And he was like, "Oh, you think it's cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do."
The national pride, it's coming out. Oh,
yeah, he just got super excited. He was like, "Oh, you think it's cool?"
Typical Korean.
I came back from class, and he was like in the same spot, sitting on his desk, reading something. And I look on my bed, and there was this like paper where he had like written out an entire Korean lesson out for me. Super nice guy.
That's charming.
Yeah. And so
I was couldn't refuse that.
Right? Yeah. I was like, this man did all this work. Yeah. And so I was like, wow, like I didn't expect this. And he was like, oh, you said you thought it was cool. I I was like, yeah. I didn't know I was signing up for classes. I started learning and it was just fun. Like my friends made it fun for me. Just talking to them.
Wow.
Making dumb songs to help me remember vocabulary. Yeah, I think I made like the first song I made was like a rap about like going to school and eating snacks at the cafeteria.
That's a cute rap. Okay.
Yeah, but it was like helped me learn vocabulary.
So how long did it take you to get you to this level of proficiency in Korean?
Well, like I feel like I'm still learning.
Could we switch to Korean for like, I don't know.
Oh, okay,
a minute,
yeah.
한국말로 해볼까요?
아, 네. 뭐 그렇게 자신 있는 건 아닌데.
너무 잘하는데.
아예 그렇게 잘하는 건지 모르겠네요.
네, 한국에 와서 얼마 동안 있었죠 지금?
처음 왔을 때는 한 10년 전 왔다 갔다 엄청 많이 했다가 이제 사는 건 6년 정도 된 것 같아요.
6년? 와, 오래됐네요. 여기 살겠다고 결정한 그 이유가 뭐예요?
그냥 친구들이랑 같이 놀고 막 돌아다니는 게 되게 재밌어 했거든요. 되게 심플하게 말했었는데 그게 the reason why I felt like that was at the time I started trying to figure out who I could get in touch with who was doing music out here. I was very interested in the hip hop scene. Like I was a big fan of like Lee Sung and like Dynamic Duo. And, like,
I mean, like it's
Tiger.
stereotypical, but like someone from the States, the
Yeah.
home of hip hop, you know, and interested in K hip hop.
Like, but it's, you know how it was? It was like this very unique color to their sound that they had. Looking at Korean hip hop, it felt very reminiscent of the 90s and early 2000s.
True.
But also like new. At the time when I was in like high school, there wasn't much of that. Like young people doing that like 90s, 2000s sound and like putting their spin on it.
The musical style fit you.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
That was a big pull for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like how'd acting start?
And one of my producer friends, he introduced me to this director friend of him. And he was like, hey, I have this friend who's a movie director and he's shooting this short film and they need a guy who can speak Korean and play guitar.
Oh, okay.
And I just thought like, oh yeah, play guitar. I can like I wasn't thinking about acting so much at that time. This is probably like 4 years ago. And talking with the director, he was like, yeah, so we just have some lines for you here.
Oh.
And I was like, wait, like I'm not
playing the guitar.
Yeah, I thought I was just here to play guitar. And so I remember like auditioning for the role and eventually got it. It was a short film. The name of it was Live Club Greyhound. It eventually got some sponsors to turn it into a full-length film.
Wow.
And got back together and ended up shooting a full-length film. That was like my first main role.
Okay. That started your career as an actor.
Right, yeah.
Oh, look at you now. You're in a super big Netflix production.
It is something
drama.
I was never expecting. Yeah.
Wow.
Live Club Greyhound.
Greyhound.
Originally it was the short film. Once we turned it into a full-length film, the name changed to Live Hard.
Live Hard.
The whole reason why I ended up actually auditioning for this role in Itaewon Class was because of the scriptwriter who worked with us on Live Hard.
Oh, it's the same scriptwriter.
Same scriptwriter, yeah.
Wow. I think this is a good segue to the next section. The next segment is called 근황 Talk.
Yes.
Recent talk, like what you're doing these days.
Okay.
So, to segue from that, are you feeling the popularity these days?
It is so weird. Like I'm super thankful to like everyone who like watched the show and loved it, sends messages and like draws fan art and like asks to take pictures when I'm out in the street. I just feel so normal that it just feels very weird. Reading the script and seeing the chemistry at the beginning of production, I feel like we all had this sense of expectation of like this could turn out to be something, but I don't think anyone was expecting it to
be this big.
Yeah, which is why I want to say like thank you so much, guys. Like I don't think any of us expected it for the TV show to turn out being like #1 in a couple different countries on Netflix, having our OSTs top the chart. Like it's just having so much work put into it and then having people that much excited to watch it.
It's just crazy. Like I love every aspect of it. I was like an avid watcher. Speaking of OSTs, my favorite artist is BTS and my favorite member is V.
Cool.
And
Okay.
He did
yeah.
an OST for Itaewon Class, you know, right?
Yeah.
And that was just crazy.
Did an amazing job.
I know.
That song is great.
So after Itaewon Class, like you said you filmed for 6 months prior to the interview. Like, what are you doing these days?
Well, like I'm kind of looking forward to sleeping.
Oh, really? Or were you sleep deprived during the filming?
Like for me, it honestly wasn't that bad for like most of us, but for like Seroyi, like he's in so many shots.
I know, literally everything.
Yeah, like he's the leading actor. So for us, it would be like, okay, we might go and start shooting at like, I don't know, 8 in the morning or something. And if we started that early, we might end at like, 5. Seo Jun, he would be there from like 8 or 7 in the morning, sometimes 6, until crazy hours at night, like
Oh my god.
12, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
Oh my god.
They're getting so good at limiting the amount of work put into one day, but he's definitely more sleep deprived than any of us. Like, we're all looking forward to sleeping.
Oh really? So it just literally, like, when did it end?
Yeah, we just finished shooting, I want to say last week.
Last week.
Yeah.
That was literally when the last episode aired.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So we finished shooting that week.
That's real time.
It can be very hectic shooting these dramas sometimes.
Oh my god! So that's why you need sleep.
Right?
Oh,
yeah.
Let's end this interview fast. Like, I need to get lunch. You need to go sleep. Okay. Well, I'm sure, but did you watch your own drama till the end?
Yeah, like there were honestly there are parts that like I didn't feel right to me. And the director, he's watching on the screen, so he can see if something turned out well or not.
Yeah.
So you as an actor later might be like cringing when you know it's gonna come out and hoping that it's not bad, and then like you watch it back again and be like, okay,
that kind of feeling.
okay, it's not as bad as I thought.
Okay. Was there, like, pick one scene that you regret or that you were embarrassed of?
I wouldn't say regret. Like there is a scene, and I'm not gonna spoil it. There is a scene where Toni is peeling an apple.
Oh, okay.
And talking at the same time.
Okay.
I'm very bad at peeling apples.
So that's why.
Yeah, so like, I think this is fine to say. Like, originally, the script was...
Yeah.
Yeah, looking back, it turned out pretty well. It doesn't look like I'm focusing on peeling apples while I'm talking.
So now we're gonna actually spill the tea. It's
spilling the tea.
Yeah, it's called the BTS time actually.
Oh, okay.
Do you know? Can you imagine why it's called BTS? I
behind
ask this
the
to every
scenes?
single. Usually people say BTS, like as in
The
pastime.
group?
Yeah. But it's called Big T Sir. Do you know what Seoul is?
Seoul?
Yeah, in Korean, Seoul.
Is that like a party? What is that?
Oh no! That I think you're talking about Thursday party, maybe.
Okay, that's Seoul.
Sarpa, yeah, Sarpa.
I was just like,
Yeah, I think you thought
how
about
many
it.
things in my mind
I know.
remind me of the word Seoul.
That shows a lot. You're a party person, I guess.
Clearly, you guys know what I was doing when I first came to Korea.
Sar means like tea. It means tea in Korean.
Oh,
so Sar
okay.
Purda. It means like
Wow.
yeah, spill the tea and stuff. So first of all, let's get into your candid feelings. Like, how did you feel right after you got casted?
I felt on top of the moon. Like
Really?
Yeah, because it was a role that is not gonna come along every day. This was the first time that I personally had seen like a main role that was a foreigner who like actually had some depth.
Right.
Also was speaking in Korean. My first thought was, if they decide not to include this character in the drama, then I don't know when I'm gonna see another role like this.
Right. You like the character. You like the representation, I guess.
Yeah, that was the biggest part for me.
Oh.
As a colored person, you know, like we don't have a lot of opportunities to see ourselves in main roles. Like even in the US, like anyone who's colored, like Asians as well, they don't have a lot of opportunities to see themselves on the screen. And so I felt like it was a huge step. I knew how risky it was. Like for JTBC to do that, and you know, the director, the writer to come up with that idea, and then for all of these people to decide that, okay, yeah, we're going to okay this decision, even though we know how risky it might be.
But what is it there to be risky though? Like,
well, you know, like especially in the entertainment industry, every time you do something new and it fails, when you try to do something again, it's much harder to get funding, much harder to get other actors involved.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why I was like, I want to do this as right as I can.
Yeah. And I think you did a really good job. And a lot of people are actually giving you a lot of compliments, good reviews. And, you know, you opened a lot of gates for other actors and people.
Well, like there were other foreigner actors who've been in dramas before with significant roles. So like,
I'm so glad that they all made the decision to go through with that. And even not your character, but like also the Honey character. That I feel like that was an even bigger risk.
Yes,
you know, because,
huge
like,
risk.
A transgender person on a drama, that would be very risky in my opinion.
Right. It was so good to see how many people were watching My Honey's story and were rooting for her.
Right.
Because I knew it was a risky thing from a production standpoint, and to see the community come and support that decision. That was beautiful to see.
That was amazing. That's why I think this drama gained more success, especially overseas as well too. So
yeah.
I think you played a big role in the drama success. Like,
really?
Yeah. Don't underestimate yourself. Like, seriously,
know,
I'm seeing a lot of comments saying that I decided to watch this drama because of your role.
What?
Like, seriously, you should go on my video and watch that. Like,
what? Wow.
Yeah, like a lot
that
of...
is humbling. That's amazing to see. Thank you, guys.
About the character, I know that you were overall positive about it, but like in depth, what did you think about the character Kim Toni? Like,
it's funny. Like when I first read the script, I just kept thinking he reminded me of myself when I was young.
Really?
Yeah. In the TV show, Toni doesn't talk much. But when he talks, he usually has something important to say.
Right.
And growing up, I never really felt like I was like a very talkative person. Like I never really enjoyed having to, even now, like I don't really enjoy talking a lot if I don't feel like I have something to say.
Okay.
I felt like with Toni, not only did he just like not talk when he didn't have anything to say, he had a very hard time hiding his emotions if he felt strongly about something.
Yeah.
And like he really wore his heart on his sleeve. So you were talking like earlier about discrimination. I felt like with the club scene, that was like one of the scenes that I thought the most about because I've had situations like that in real life in Korea. That's a real thing that happens. Sometimes they'll say straight up front, like, we don't allow black people here.
Okay.
Sometimes it'll be foreigners. Sometimes they'll say that usually the reason why we say this is because we've had situations in the past where like a foreigner stole alcohol. Just be like, well, like that's one person. Like you can't make a decision because of one person. But anyway, so there were some situations like that in real life that I've had. And the way that I would deal with it was I wanted to go through the thought process with them. What led you to this decision? Take me through logically how this works.
A logical process.
Yeah. And like if I did something wrong, if that's why you're saying I need to leave, then I'd love to apologize. I'd love to have the opportunity to say sorry for something that I did. I felt like Toni, I didn't feel like he would react to the situation like that.
He just rushed it out, right?
Right, yeah. And he has this very innocent, childlike kind of persona to him. He came to Korea pretty much with no plan.
To find his father.
Yeah, he's trying to find his dad, but like he has no plan about like how to live.
Yeah.
During that time,
goes to this random pub and says like, "I want to work here."
Right.
But has no serving experience.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't feel like he was very mature in a lot of his thought processes initially, and like over time, he's kind of like learning the business, learning how the way the world works.
Right. A lot of people commented about that dialogue between Toni and Yiseo. Like when she's like, but you're not Korean. When
저기 저 한국 사람인데요?
네.
you're not Korean. And then
Yeah.
they kind of force Toni to learn English just because he's a
Because
foreigner.
he's a foreigner.
While they don't like learn English.
Yeah, yeah.
And that, I mean, what do you think of that whole thing? You know.
Well, like one aspect that I felt was kind of realistic in a way. It's like, okay, look, Toni, like we want you to work here, but Yiseo hired you because you think because she thinks you speak English.
Yeah.
And so I don't think the average person would have thought in that moment it's unfair to him to tell him to learn English. Might not have been the best thing to do, but I felt like in a way it was kind of realistic and representative of how people
Korea.
would have react.
Yeah, it's Korea. I guess.
Yeah.
We have a long way to go. And at that moment, like myself saying that's a surprise factor means that I was expecting too that you would speak English in the
Right.
role as well, and then I was like, oh,
Wait.
he's Korean and he speaks Korean, so
Right.
yeah.
And I think it's important, like when, like we all have those kind of situations where like we have prejudices. Like everyone has prejudices.
Yeah.
But the important thing is how we react after we understand reality.
Right,
And
right.
understand someone else's experience.
Okay, so let's get into the real tea. I'm gonna do some manipulation here.
Some manipulation.
Who is your favorite actor?
I think it's important to preface this with like everyone did an amazing job on their characters.
Okay.
And this is, I feel like it's kind of cheating, but like Seo Jun, we knew each other before we started shooting the show. We originally met like I think 2 years ago. We originally met and started to like exchange, contact information and would, every once in a while like meet and hang out. And then he got really busy. And I never saw him again. No, I'm just kidding. But he's gained so much experience over the years with his acting career. So he, along the way, gave a lot of tips of like how he prepared for a lot of his characters, how he would prepare with a lot of scripts.
Like maybe as a friend though. Like what's like a funny moment with him?
Okay, so there was one time when we all went on a trip together, like the cast. We had finished drinking, and everything was kind of like done for the night. At least that's what I was thinking. So I was like, okay, like I'm a little tired. It was like 4:00 in the morning. I was like, I'm gonna go to sleep. So I go up to my room, go to sleep. All of a sudden, I hear like this banging on the door.
Okay.
But it wasn't like just like a boom, boom, boom. It sounded like there were like 3 people banging on my door.
A zombie.
Like,
Yeah.
I jump out of bed thinking like this building is about to burn down.
Oh my God.
And they're trying to get everybody out. So I quickly like pull the door open and I see like Seo Jun and Kyung-soo and like I think Toni was there and also Bo-hyun. They were all just like sitting there like saying like, hey, we just wanted to drink.
More?
And I was just like, wait, you
Like-
literally were just like banging my door down. And you were like, oh, okay, yeah, no, we just wanted to drink. Here I was thinking like this, the whole hotel was about to burn down.
Do you think Tommy is a psychopath? Do you think Tommy is a sociopath in real life too? Is she like that?
Yeah, no, not at all. Definitely
People
not.
think she's an asshole.
I was like, yeah, her character in the show is a little questionable.
And a lot of people are annoyed of her. Yeah, until the end.
Yeah. Like she definitely has this development stage that she goes through.
Right.
In real life, like she's amazing. Like she was one of the other people who helped so many times.
But she's not a sociopath.
Yeah, definitely not.
People believe she's a sociopath.
100% acting. That's not Tommy in real life.
Oh, this is a fun question. What do you like? Your honest opinion.
Honest
like no
opinion, I
sugarcoating.
feel like this is gonna be a very scary question.
It's not a scary question at all. What do you think of Park Seroi's haircut?
You know what's funny? Like, I loved the haircut.
Really?
Yeah, like
Actually, like a lot of Korean men want to do that haircut because they have this illusion that if they do it, they'll become Park Seo Jun.
look like like Park Seo-yoon in the show.
Yeah, I know, and I actually put up a poll on Twitter like, should I get this haircut? And people are like, no. Like instant no's. Like
I like the haircut. I remember like the minute we shot the last scene of the show. he was like, finally I can grow my hair. He was like, I have to cut this thing every 4 days.
Oh yeah, that's a hassle.
Yeah.
Among Tony's lines, what was like the most memorable line or scene that you had? Like for me, it was personally that epic line. Like, 난 밥 없어도 아빠가 있는 게 더 좋아요.
Okay, yeah. So,
Oh, it was that one?
Yes, that was my favorite line as well.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the exact line?
The exact line was 밥 있는 것보다 아빠가 있는 게 좋아요.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But there's like a funny story behind that line.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember if we were like recording or like if we were just going through rehearsal. But like I remember like saying the line and like out of the corner of my eye, I see Dami and Seo Jun like laughing.
Why?
And so like I guess just like seeing instead of seeing the character saying the line, you see the actor saying the line. Yeah, like it's your friend saying the line. You just end up laughing. So I thought it was like one of those situations. I was like, why are they laughing? And I turned to them. I was like, why are you guys laughing? And they were like, what do you think you just said? And I was just like, I just said my lines. And they were like, no, you just said 아빠 있는 것보다 밥 있는 거 좋아.
Oh, you said it reversed.
So instead of saying having your father around is more important than putting food on your table, I switched it up and said having food on the table is more important than having your father around.
Oh my god, I guess it is confusing. There are many scenes that Toni experiences racism and discrimination in the actual film. And do you think that's an accurate representation of Korea? And have you experienced that personally? And also, on top of that, I'm sorry I'm giving you a lot of questions.
This is a very long question.
I know. On top of that, there are a lot of aspects of diversity in Itaewon Class. And what are your thoughts about that?
Okay, yeah. Sometimes it's black people, sometimes it's people from Southern Asian countries. So that definitely exists. I've had that experience myself more than once. Black people or any person of color. It's very hard to see us represented in main roles on the screen. And it's not just, ethnicity. It also spans over to like sexual orientation, any kind of minority. It's just the way life works. Like the reason why majorities are in the majorities because there are more of them. And so those minorities, since it's hard to see ourselves in those kind of positions, representation really matters, especially to like kids. It not only shapes their development as a kid, but it also shapes how society treats them.
Right.
And that I think is one of the most important things that we sometimes overlook in our society.
And I think that's one of the most important things that Itaewon Class accomplished with the drama itself, like representation, and also it gave so much courage to all the people involved that appear in the drama. So yeah, I think you did a really good job and good role in
Thanks,
doing
man.
that. And like it's a wonderful drama. So people at this point who haven't seen this drama yet, you gotta go see it. Okay,
Thank
so that was kind of heavy, deep, but let's just lighten it up and end it.
Was it a little serious? Got a little
but
serious
we need
there.
that. That's the tea. We need that. So what was Itaewon Class to you? What did it mean to you? And what are your plans for your future?
Itaewon Class, for me, first of all, I just felt like it was, it's gonna sound cheesy, I know, but they kind of feel like family to me now.
Oh. And what are your future plans? Are you planning to do new works or acts or?
Well, like I said, first of all, I am trying to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing on my list.
Okay.
Until the next big project comes, I've been working on music and also kind of developing some of my like computer graphic skills and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I've been mainly doing.
Okay. So if those projects come out, please send them to me so I can like promote it too on our channel.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think so. That was it for Tea Time with David with CHRIS LYON today. Thank you for coming out and enjoying with me. I hope you enjoyed the talk.
I love the tea.
Yeah.
It was great. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. Like, thank you so much. Like, we're going back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you. But like, I did want to say like, thank you guys so much because like I don't think any of us expected it to get this much attention, and there's some like really important messages in the drama,
Right.
Itaewon Class. So I think you guys as a community made those really important messages kind of come to the forefront in society. So thank you guys so much.
Stay inside, self-quarantine, watch Itaewon Class. This was Chris Lyon. Thank you again. And yeah, bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.